And there, look at that recording. What is up, dude? What's going on?
Just fed my two kitty cats. Um, Drinking a Coco Jones Porter. I have a kegerator in the back of my house, so two kegs of beer on tap at all times.
You got two. You got a kegerator. So wait, now what's a coconut porter?
It's this local Seattle brewery. Coco Jones Porter is kind of a coconut flavored beer, a dark beer like a porter. Really, really good.
Yeah, no, I know what a porter is, but I've never heard of that one. But like you said, it's
Yeah, I don't know.
Seattle
And then
based.
the other keg I always have on hand is called Mac and Jacks, which is the African amber, which is only available in Seattle, but everybody in Seattle loves it.
Damn, I'm drinking a Budweiser right now while watching the Yankee game and hoping they don't lose.
Oh, I was a big Yankees fan. I grew up in West Haven, Connecticut, and part of the time in Milford, Connecticut. So there was no baseball team, and Boston was too far away. So I was a huge Yankee fan.
Yeah,
I'd
no,
sit through when I was a kid. I'd sit through like Sunday double headers and watch Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford and Roger Maris.
dude. So like before you came on, right? So like
Yeah.
15 minutes ago, I was like, all right, let me just like look up his name and definitely not look at Google Images when looking up his name, and like look at like a bio. And dude, I saw, dude, you're 72. I was like, get the fuck
Oh
out
my
of
God.
here.
Yeah, yeah. I actually didn't start in porn until I was 42.
Jesus, a fucking late bloomer.
I know.
Dude, that was crazy. I was like, holy shit. And then when I said that, I was like, there's no way. Not in a million years he's gonna know how to use Discord. Not like no, like I'm gonna have to help him sign in, and then I'm gonna have to figure out his Netflix account after we go off air. It's gonna be crazy.
Hey, I built my own website, so
That's
and
right.
I wrote a computer program on the Commodore 64 back in the 80s that taught people how to play guitar.
Get the fuck out of here.
So I think I can handle the computer. I think Discord's not going to throw me off too bad.
That was like a nice subtle jab of saying, listen, little motherfucker, I've been around. I got a kegerator in my backyard. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Although if I have too much of this Coco Jones Porter, I might have a little difficulty. But
Well, now I'm sad because the Astros just hit a 3 run. All right, I'm turning. If I watch this, I'm not gonna fuck. I'm already miserable. God damn it. The Yankees finally play a good team and they're losing.
uh, yeah, I haven't paid much attention to baseball. We got the Mariners out here, and they suck. So
Oh, dude. So my one buddy's a big baseball fan, and he's like, the Mariners were supposed to be good this year. I'm like, they're always supposed to be good. They always disappoint
yeah,
their fan base.
yeah. Of course, the big thing in sports out here is they traded Russell Wilson to Denver.
That's right. He's gone now. The
Yeah, so I
Seahawks
don't
are
know.
rebuilding. Do you watch any sports at all?
I watch football, just well to the Seahawks. I was a huge I play volleyball all the time, so I don't watch much volleyball, but I was a huge roller derby fan when roller derby was making a huge comeback.
Wait. Wait, what do you mean when you mean roller derby? The thing with like the roller blades and the like
Yeah, the
oval ring?
girls.
Yeah, yeah.
It started like in the 70s and the 80s, but back then it was like it was all staged, like professional wrestling, and they purposely, knock each other off the track and beat each other up for for the fun of it, just to get an audience. But I think it started in Texas again in the early 2000s, and this time they treated it as a legitimate sport. And pretty soon,
Huh.
all the major cities had a team. Like Seattle had the Rat City Roller Girls, and then down at the border in Olympia, they had the Ole Roller Girls. New
Holy
York had
roller
the
girl.
Gotham City Roller Girls. And they got really, really good skaters. Like Ole Rollers had a girl that won a 5,000 skater marathon. They had a couple of professional women's hockey players on the team. It was really exciting to watch. But anyway, not to get into a long story about it, but
No,
so many
it's
teams
it's a
started
podcast. Talk
playing.
as much as you want, bro.
Well, so many teams started playing, like every little podunk town that could put down a flat track, put together a team, and any girl that could, stand on a pair of skates without falling over would join the local roller derby team. So you had these teams with no skill at all playing against these teams that had, professional hockey players and world-class speed skaters, and you'd get scores like 450 to 2.
Jesus Christ.
So in order to make it more fair, they changed the rules of how they play, and they allowed the girls, the blockers, to instead of having to keep skating and keep moving, they allowed them to just stand still and not let anybody
Oh,
pass
that's
them.
that's just dumb. Really, you just have Big Bertha in
Yeah.
the
So
middle
so
and
before
throwing
it was
haymakers.
so before it was fun to watch them, because you'd see the girls with the most speed and the agility, like zigzag their way through the blockers, but because the blockers had to keep moving. But once the blockers are just standing still and they let them lock arms, and then the skaters, the only way to get through was to just sort of try to push and shove your way through.
Yeah,
So
that's
it went
silly.
from being really exciting to watch to really boring to watch. So I gave up on it as most people did.
I
Like the
bet.
Rat City
Yeah.
Roller Girls, they went from skating in a local skating rink to an airplane hangar to packing the Key Arena. They were getting bigger crowds than the Seattle Storm, the women's basketball team.
Well,
And
this
then when they
podcast
changed the
gets more
rules,
watchers and listeners than the Seattle Storm.
but it was like a bell curve, the audience kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they changed the rules and they started pushing and shoving instead of skating, and then it just went
That's
back down. So
insanity
now I
to
don't
me.
even know
Like
if they have teams anymore.
that's crazy to think. Like, dude, every sport in America is finding newer ways to make sure offense like scores more points, because that
Right,
they know that's what brings eyeballs. And this sport's like, you know what we should do? We should just have half our team not rollerblade, which is the whole purpose of
right.
this, and
It,
just score
it
less.
makes no sense at all. I don't understand it.
I thought the main thing that hurt, what's it called technically? Roller derby, right?
Roller derby, yeah.
I think the thing that hurt that a lot too is because I like the idea of it. I mean, even though no one really rollerblades anymore or skates or anything like that, but I think what really hurt was making that course. Like, it takes a lot of effort and time to make that like slanted roller derby rink where, like, if you were just doing it on a flat surface, the
Well,
same.
that's what they started doing. They started doing it on a flat surface.
See, and that way
So they
way
could
more
lay down a
people.
track anyway. That's why so many teams started popping up. It was
Yeah.
called flat track. They still have some teams doing the old banked curve, but that you're right. That took a lot of time and money to set up. There was a team in L.A. called the L.A. Derby Dolls. When I was living down there, I'd go watch them, and they had a bank track. But most of the teams, the flat track was the ones that had all the local towns, putting teams together. You could just lay it right down anywhere on a high school gym floor.
Exactly. Yeah. Once it's flat, like you said, it's like street hockey at that point.
Yeah,
You remember the movie? It was in the '70s, and of course you do. You were like 90 at that point. It was in the
the one with
seven.
Raquel Welch.
No, I'm thinking of Rollerball.
Oh no, I don't think I saw that.
But there was a movie about roller derby with that girl from Juno. That was an alright movie. That was probably my favorite movie with her. I forget what it was called though.
Now you're talking about the one that came out about 10 years ago
Yeah, roller.
about because that was kind of about modern roller derby.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
around 10 years ago. Here, I'll look it up real quick. Even though I know my old co-host Gemini. Oh, Whip It. It was called Whip It.
Yeah. That's the one.
That was a
That
decent
was pretty
movie.
good.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, but that was flat track. I think that was flat track. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
think so. I think it was
No, I
like
think it was the bank track.
I think it was. I could,
Yeah.
why am I acting like I know? But I think it was.
You could be right.
You never know. I really could
Yeah.
be. Shit, man. I actually
So
am
you're on the
surprised.
East Coast.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
What
I'm on the way over
what
here.
part?
Like the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, I grew up around New Haven, so
So where's New Haven? Now you said Connecticut before, right? Is that?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
New
right.
Haven's on the coast.
My
It's
geography.
about an hour and a half out of Manhattan
So what
by
made
car.
you go all the way, like, because you definitely, so you got into porn late as hell, like you're in their 40s, and then you moved all the way to Seattle, Washington. It seems like you did a lot of,
No, actually, I moved to Seattle when I was 28.
oh, really?
I was working for a recording studio as an engineer and producer, and the owner, I believe, I can't say this with absolute authority, but I believe he had some dealings with the mafia that didn't go well.
Jesus Christ. In Seattle?
So no, in New Haven.
Oh, in New Haven. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So I know one night they blew up his Lincoln Continental in the middle of the night, that's parked in front of his house.
What
So
the
he came in one day and he goes, "I'm going to the West Coast to find a place to move the studio to get as far away from here as possible."
I'm getting the fuck out of here. They just blew up my car.
So he moved to Seattle, and then he said, if you want to join me out there, give me a couple of months to put together a new studio." And then so I said, "Yeah, what the hell? I don't have much going on here." So I packed up my van, and my father drove out with me just for the ride, and then he flew back, and then I went to work for him.
Damn, dude. So like
And
just like that, 28 years old, you literally went on the opposite side of the country.
yeah,
Fuck.
and we started out until we got really established in the area. Our clientele was mostly born again Christian bands. So I was sitting there engineering, praise the Lord and all this kind
That's
of stuff.
hilarious. That's
But it was money,
hilarious. And then like 15 years later, like you're doing what you're doing. But now you got into the industry, but did you start producing and making your own stuff right off the gate, or did you go in as like an actor or whatever they call it?
I moved to LA in 1990, and from the time I lived in New Haven and, started being able to, work until I got to LA, I was always able to support myself doing music, and it was feast or famine basically. But and I played in a lot of different bands. But I got to LA, and then it was pretty much all famine because I was pretty frustrated with the music business at that point. And I had done I used to do a lot of jingles. I wrote and produced jingles for different companies. And I had written a jingle for a video store, and they gave me as partial payment for the jingle a camcorder. And we're talking, this was like 1991, so we're talking like those big bulky
Yeah,
VHS
size of a
that you got to put the
briefcase.
VHS tape inside,
Mm-hmm.
And I was always a big fan of porn. My father was kind of a collector, so he always had a lot of stuff in the closet.
Videos
So
are like back in that day. Was it like
well,
Playboys
back
and
in that day, it was
magazines?
just magazines.
Yeah. Okay.
Although he did have a box of what they called stag films back then.
I've
They were
heard
just,
that. What's a stag film?
it's like an 8 millimeter. Back when when in the 50s and 60s, you'd have like a movie camera that took 8 millimeter movies with no sound, just video, just film. And some people were making stag films, and they call them stag films because guys would show them at their stag parties.
The fuck's a stag party,
So
Rodney?
what's that?
What's a stag? I don't. What?
Well, when a guy gets married, he has a the bride has a bridal shower and the guy has a stag party.
What? No, I don't know this at all. So
You never heard this?
no, no, dude. So wait. So guy gets married. He has a. I've heard of a bachelor party, but now
Well, yeah. That's in Connecticut. That's what they called it. I don't know. I mean, that's what I always heard it was
not in a
called.
million
But it's the same
years.
thing: bachelor party, stag party.
So and during the stag party, he would have there'd be like what an 8 millimeter like VHS
Well, I'm
tape.
not saying it was a requirement or anything. I mean, I went to a stag party where we had a guy tell dirty jokes. That was about it. But
Oh, that's boring compared to this fucking 8 millimeter shit that you got going
yeah,
on.
but I think my father and his best friend, my father was a musician and his best friend was a musician, and I think they'd get together and watch these stag films. They'd set up the projector. So when my parents would go out of town to visit my grandparents in Massachusetts, when I got old enough to stay by myself, they'd take off for the weekend, and that's when I'd go down to my father's closet and set up the 8 millimeter projector and jerk off to the stag films.
You were fucking.
But
You were in
other than
heaven.
that, yeah. Other than that, it was just magazines. That's all you had.
You're like looking back, like I remember when I had the 8 millimeters. Those are the days.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
I got this video camera, and I was like I said, I was always a fan of porn, and I'd been watching a lot of porn because I'd moved to LA and I wasn't making any money, and if you're in LA and you don't have money, you're not going to get laid. So I was jerking off 3-4 times a day,
Jesus.
and and this was around the time that amateur porn first started coming out.
What year? What
Because a
year
lot-
was this again? In the
It was like 91.
So that's when. So the early '90s is when the whole
Yeah.
amateur category started taking over.
Right, because everybody was buying camcorders, and the very first thing you want to do when you have a camcorder is film you and your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, having sex.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
They say that the porn industry has actually made many other technologies popular that might not have lasted otherwise. Like Polaroids would have not lasted as long as they did if not for people being able to take pictures of their wife naked. And because back then, if you took a regular photo like on a Kodak, you'd have to take it to the drugstore to get developed. And in the 60s, you can't take a picture of your naked wife, let alone having sex to the local drugstore. So that's why people would buy Polaroids because you didn't, the picture would develop itself, even though it
Fucking
looked
guy
like
doing
shit.
the 1 hour photos having a field day back there.
Right. So anyway, so people were buying camcorders and they were doing amateurs, and there was a couple of companies that wisely, one was homegrown out of San Diego, and then there was another one, A&B Video out of
I
Florida.
still watch homegrown video. That's great. This is from the
Yeah.
90s? They're from the 90s?
Yeah. 91 they started.
Holy shit.
So they'd run ads like in swinger magazines, send us your homemade porn movie and we'll buy the rights to it if we can put it out. So, and then of course, when these started getting popular, companies in LA that, sort of had to jump on the bandwagon, and they were putting out movies. They called them amateurs, but people were getting paid. They just didn't do all the normal things like have professional lighting and things like that, just to keep it like amateurs. So it was around that time that I thought, well, maybe I could make a little extra money and have some fun, shoot an amateur porn myself. But I didn't know anything about the business. So I put an ad in the LA Express, and this couple answered, and the guy himself was actually shooting amateur videos, and him and his girlfriend lived in Chicago. And they had come into town for a little vacation. They were staying at a hotel right outside of Disneyland. And he said, yeah, I came down here to shoot some stuff for my mail order business because I shoot mail order porn, but yeah, we'll work as a couple for you, And like I said, I didn't know anything about the business. So I said, well, you would know because I don't. What am I supposed to pay you? And he goes, well, the going rate for an amateur couple is like $200. And I said, and I was so poor at the time. I said, well, can I pay you 100? And then if I sell the scene, I'll pay you the rest. And he said, yeah, okay. So I went down to their motel outside of Disneyland,
Okay.
and I shot them.
Yeah, okay.
And at the time, I thought I was making a masterpiece. I looked at the footage about 6 months later, and I felt sorry for the poor schmuck that had to edit it.
It's just his ass crack and balls and just the worst camera
Well,
angles of all time.
it wasn't that what I was doing was that terrible. It was like they weren't very good performers. But
Okay. You blame the actors on that one. All
yeah,
right, I see.
I'm gonna blame them.
I see you, Rodney.
Anyway,
Fucking Scorsese over here.
Anyway, so I finished. I gave him the $100, and then I grabbed my camera and I'm about to go out the door. And he goes, "Well, wait a minute, where are you going?"
Uh-oh.
I goes, "Well, aren't we done?"
Oh, jeez.
And he goes, "Well, you didn't have us sign any model releases."
What's a
And I
what?
said, "Do I need that?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, you got to have us sign a model release, otherwise you have no rights to the footage." I go, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Oh.
And he said, "Well, I told you I shoot my own stuff, so I'll give you, we've got my own model releases, so we'll just fill out a couple of those." I said, "Oh, great." And then he said, "Also, you didn't take any pictures." And I go, "Do I need that?" And he said, "Yeah, you got to have pictures for the box cover, for promotion, magazine articles, I said, "Oh, I didn't know that. And I have a nice camera at home. I would have brought it if I'd known."
You didn't bring your
And then he
camera?
said, "Also, you didn't make a copy of our IDs."
Oh my
I go,
God.
"Do I need that?" I go, he says, "Well, yeah, you got to have copies of our ID to prove we're over the age of 18, so they don't accuse you of making kiddie porn."
Oh, well, yeah. Jeez, a lot of red tape in the porn world, eh?
Yeah, so it was actually a very, very lucky break for me because if I had just shot some couple that knew about as little about the business as I did, when I went to sell the tape, the first thing they would have said was, "Well, the tape sucks, but we'll buy it anyway." But so where's the model releases? Where's the ID shots? Where's the photos? I go, "Ooh, I don't have any of that." They go, "Well, we can't buy the scene," and that would have been the beginning and the end of my porn career.
Yeah, geez, I guess like you said, I mean, they sucked as actors, I guess, but they knew the industry.
Yeah,
So
so it was a lucky break.
so now you had all right. So they sign all the paperwork and they give all the. I can't believe this is like the discussion room. This is fucking awesome. Now you have the footage and you have all the legalities. All like, what's your next step after that? Because this is the '90s. You can't just like upload it to
Right.
Pornhub or X video. So what do you do?
I had done a little research. I just looked at the back of the video boxes to see where the addresses of the companies that were putting them out. So I just called them, and that first video I sold to a guy, Mickey Blank, and I'm quoting him exactly. He called me back and he said, "This movie is so bad, I got to have it."
Oh shit! So even it's so bad it's good exists in the porn world.
Yeah, yeah. And so he bought it, and then I took the money from that
How
one, and
much?
then probably like 500.
Look at you making a profit on your first fucking shoot.
So I guess I probably sent the 100 that I owed the couple, I sent them the money, and then
Oh yeah,
I used that money and shot a second scene. And I had no intention of, well, I don't know if that's true or not. It was so long ago. I thought about being in the scenes myself, but at first I was just going to shoot couples, but then what was happening was girls were coming into my apartment. I had met a couple of people, and I was running ads in the LA Express, just looking for talent. And back then, the standard routine was a girl would come over to producer's house, and in this case, me, and she'd take her clothes off. I'd snap 2 or 3 Polaroids of her. She'd put her clothes back on, and then say, can you hire me? And I say, okay, yeah. And then we'd book something, and she'd say, well, who will I be working with? And it didn't take long for me to say, well, hell, I'll do it.
yeah. You're over here like, wait a minute, a little light bulb appears over your head.
And I was pretty fond of the people there was a couple of guys that had just started shooting POV. John Staliano was actually one of the very first ones, but the very first guy, to the best of my knowledge, that was shooting POV was this guy, Ugly George, out in New York City.
Oh, well, that's a great porn star name right there.
And he started doing it, but and then John started doing it, and then I picked up on it, and I became pretty well known as one of the champions of POV. And just before I started shooting, one of the amateur companies, I was always a big fan of facial cum shots. That was always the thing
Yes,
that kept me off.
I can tell.
If you ever seen any of my videos,
Well, I actually my main one is the hirsute girls. Everything else is like,
wow,
yeah, that's my thing.
wow, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that, threw a fucking curveball there,
Yeah,
eh?
horny hairy girls. HornyHairyGirls.com, still up and running. Anyway, so just before I had thought about shooting, and if someone told me even a week before I shot my first video that I would end up being in the porn business, I would have said, "You're out of your mind." But anyway, this company A&B out of Florida started putting out these gangbang videos,
Gee.
and I really liked them because they always had a ton of facial cum shots.
Oh yeah,
Because
dude.
all the guys
Yeah,
would come on the girls' faces.
it's great. It's just mayhem. Yes.
And there was this one girl, Susie. Most of the girls that were in these videos looked like, typical porn girls. But there was this one girl, Susie. She was in a couple of them. And she was by far my favorite because I think she was Jewish, had kind of a Jewish nose, and she looked like somebody that would, like a bank teller or a librarian, and kind of plain, not unattractive, but not very, very attractive, just kind of average looking. But on top of that, she had this really blasé attitude. Like she wasn't when she was doing all these guys, 10 guys at a time, and they were all coming on her face, and she would look like, I'm here, I'm doing it, I don't mind doing it.
I wonder what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. You couldn't tell if she's having a good time or. But I was. I mean, I must have jerked off to this girl dozens and dozens of times. I was. This, like I said, this was before I got in the business, but not very long before I got.
This is still the 90s, right? Or before the 90s, technically.
Yeah. It was so. I don't know. A couple of months later, when I finally got into the business, one of the first guys I met was this guy, Randy Detroit, and he came over to my house. And he brought this actor with him, and I recognized the actor as one of the actors that had been in all these gangbang videos coming out of Florida. And I said, "Hey, I recognize you. You're in those gangbang videos." And he goes, "Are you visiting LA from Florida?" And he goes, "No. Those are all shot right here. The company that puts them out distributes them out of Florida, but those are all shot locally here in LA. And I go, really? I said, does that mean Susie lives in LA? And he goes, yeah, you want her number?
Oh, that's awesome.
So here I was. So I called her up, and then a week or so later, there she was in my apartment on her knees, giving me a blowjob, with holding the camera POV,
Holy
with that
shit.
same blasé look on her face.
Oh my
That
God, you're living the
that
dream.
yeah, it was like how many guys get to have sex with their, the porn girl that they fantasized about.
Like you're literally live. That's insane, man. That's fucking awesome. Was she?
Oh, and then
Were you nervous when you were shooting the what's it called, the scene or the set with her, whatever it's called?
the scene, yeah. I don't remember. It was so long ago. I was a little nervous the first couple of months.
True.
You could hear it in my voice when I would talk to the girl. They could like a little wavering in my voice.
Okay, take
But
your bra off now. Very
in
good.
in these in these gangbang videos, one of the crazy things that they would do is like the guys would, when they were actually fucking the girl, they'd put condoms on, and then they'd come inside the girl and they'd pull out and then pour the cum out of the condom onto the girl's face.
I've seen a couple videos, and I'm just like, what am I watching? What am I watching? What am I doing?
And that was a big turn on for me because, like I said, I always loved facial cum shots, and
Really?
it
That
was so
seems
nasty. I was
weird
like,
at
wow,
that.
that's nasty.
Oh, no way.
So this while this same guy was over at my apartment, the guy that was in them that gave me Susie's number, I said to him, "Oh man, when you guys, when you come inside the girl and you pull out and you pour the condom on the girl's face, that's so hot, disgusting." And he goes, "Oh, that's all fake cum."
What?
I go, "What? No, don't tell me that.
They told you how the hot dog's
No,
made.
you just ruined my fantasy forever."
It's fucking great. Nah, it's all fake cum. That's all. It's all Elmer's
And
glue.
then the weird thing was about 3-4 months later, the guy from A&B that I had, he was on my list of companies to try to sell stuff to. So I was selling him some amateurs, and then he calls me up because he liked what I was doing, and he goes, "Hey, the guy that was shooting these gangbangs for me decided to go off on his own, do his own thing. You want to take over and shoot him for me?" So I said, "Well, okay." So a month later, there I was mixing up a batch of fake cum, pouring it into the condoms and giving it to the guys to put on and fake, do the fake cum shot. I shouldn't be giving away
Unreal.
these secrets out to the public, but
You're fucking in your 70s. You got a kegerator. You're set. You're set for life, bro. You're good. Dude, what was the what's the recipe for fake cum?
oh, there's a couple of them. I don't know. None of them there's that lube now, that sperm lube or something. Spunk lube. Supposed to have the exact same texture, but I don't know. Back then, it's supposedly like if you use like egg white and what the hell was it? I don't know. I don't even remember.
Back in my
None of
day,
it
we
ever.
didn't have spunk glue. We had to make our own concoctions.
Yeah. But,
Damn, dude. And then, what was the? And by the way, if you don't like, because I remember we were talking, and before you didn't want to do the interview, but then you were like, nah, fuck it, let's do it. So like, if you don't want to talk
yeah.
all about the industry, we don't have to, man. I'm
No,
just
no. I'm fine talking about it.
yeah, because I'm definitely curious. So then, what was the transition from doing all that to then you doing your own thing? Because correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like with your own stuff, there's like three main categories. There's the hairy girls, there's the facials, and I think there's like a third one with like tits or something.
Chubby girls.
What was it?
Scalebusting Babes. Scalebustingbabes.com. Still up there.
Look at you, fucking self promoting motherfucker. Yeah. So like, what was the transition to like you doing shoots of stuff, and then you doing your own thing?
Um, well, like I said, I'd been pretty poor, after I moved to LA. So I started making money just shooting scenes and selling them. Because back then there were companies putting out these amateur videos, 3 scenes per movie. And after about a couple of months, there was basically me and maybe 4 or 5 other guys that were cranking out about 90% of what was coming out of LA as far as amateur porn. There was me, there was Max Hardcore, who I'm sure you've heard of.
Who? No.
And
Who? Max? Who?
no, okay.
No.
Uh, and there was 3 other guys, I can't even remember their names. Anyway, so I did that for about 6 months, and I still say today, it was the freest time of my life because
Hmm.
I was working for myself. I was shooting scenes. I had 7 or 8 companies that would buy scenes from me, but there was no pressure on me to have to, deliver to them. If I didn't give them a scene, somebody else would. So if I shot something, I just called them up, got a new scene. Okay, bring it over, we'll buy it. But if I didn't want to shoot something for a week, I didn't have to. So, I was totally free to do whatever I wanted. But after about 6 months, I said, well, maybe I should get kind of serious about this because it seems to be like, good money in it. And I seem to be good at it. So that's when I kind of came up with the name Rodney Moore, and I did my very first series where so I instead of just selling scenes, I would shoot 5 scenes and edit them together. I taught myself how to edit. And the first series I did was called How to Make a Model, and then I did like 4 or 6 of those actually, and then I did I think the next one I did was Creme de la Face.
You're a
There's
fucking, you're an idiot.
50 of those.
50 of those.
In fact, I think creme de la face was kind of responsible for making
I'm
the
looking.
facial cum shot the staple of the industry that it is today.
Look at you, man. I'm trying to scroll through your website now without like, I'm already accidentally clicking on videos. Like, no. Hold, fuck.
Oh, I should have sent you a password, but no, afterwards though.
Oh, you dude. Oh my God. If you do that,
Actually,
like,
I can't send you a password. I have to have my assistant do it because she knows how to.
if
She
she
has
if
to
she does that,
contact.
I'm never leaving my apartment again. Fucking set for life.
So I started shooting my own stuff, my own series, and then I started the Hairy Girls. The first one I did was Seattle Hairy Girls because
That's the big one. Yeah.
I started coming back to Seattle on trips, on
But it's,
visits,
mhm.
and then I discovered there was a lot of Hairy Girls in Seattle, and I didn't even know they'd be popular, but as it turns out, they were quite popular.
Yeah, bigger there than over here. So like over here, it's not even close.
So I started the Seattle Hairy Girls, and then I started doing that was in I think 97 or 98. And then around 2000, I started the Scale Bustin' Babes just for BBWs.
Oh, scale busting. But now I get it.
Yeah. And then in 2002, I started shooting what turned out to be my biggest moneymaker, a solo series called Shemale Strokers.
What? A s-
Female Strokers, which was trans girls masturbating.
I probably haven't seen this, probably because it doesn't fall into my wheelhouse. I didn't know you even had that.
Yeah, that was huge. It was huge
That was
market
your
for that.
biggest moneymaker.
Yeah.
To be fair, the name
Yeah.
is very catchy. I mean, like it's hard to beat that name.
Well, we had to change the name.
What? Why?
Be- well, because the term shemale and tranny became politically incorrect
Yeah, but this is you
and
were talking
offensive.
early 2000. That I don't think that became
Yeah, well,
offensive.
I didn't have to change it till like 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah, but I thought you I thought you've been out I thought you're out of the industry now, no?
Uh, I stopped shooting 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, just in time for the pandemic. By the way, I
Wh-
timed it well.
When yeah, actually wait, doesn't that hurt you though? Because then I feel like more people were watching porn during the pandemic because they were all like isolated
Oh, well,
inside.
we still update my site every day because all that stuff that I shot in the '90s, none of that has ever been online before.
It,
And fortunately, there's a market for vintage porn.
fucking
So
nostalgia. Eh?
we put up stuff every day. I put up a scene from the '90s or the early 2000s, and this I still have a lot of members. So the site's still making money. I'm still able to pay my assistant.
Bro, dude, trust me, I like vintage and retro porn too. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Let's take a guess.
Um, hmm. Storylines?
No, no, yeah, the score. No, because the girls back then they actually like they didn't shave 100%.
Oh,
That was
okay.
like the
That's why.
norm back
Yeah.
then, you know.
Right. Yeah. That's way back. Yeah, '90s. You know what I hated though was like what I called the Hitler mustache.
It's so just like at that point, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You
You know
know?
what I'm talking about, right? The little square patch
Yeah,
on
yeah.
top.
It's like, dude, either get a
Ugh.
runway or just like, what is the like now? It's just in the way, and then now it's my OCD is going crazy.
Fortunately, you don't see those anymore.
No, no, and you don't see Hitler
Those-
anymore too. So it's a very good
No,
thing.
that's even better.
Yeah, that's even better. The fucking Hitler. So that's so. But now do you operate your website anymore? And that's not you're just 100% hands off at this point.
No, I update I built the website myself. I program it. I learned HTML back in '97 and put it together myself. I learned CSS. Now, to be perfectly honest, if you're like a modern web code person and you looked at the average website, most of which are done with modules,
Mm.
and then you opened up the my website and looked at the actual code, you say, "Oh my God, this is like rank amateur city." Because I took my knowledge of HTML and CSS and all that up to a certain level that worked for me, and then I just that's as far as I went.
Yeah, no,
But
definitely.
the site works, the site makes money, and so
When
why
I
pay
yeah when I go
somebody
to your
to?
site, I don't I definitely go like this is such a low budget, but it works for your content. That's the thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's a perfect fit. So, but now
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
now you're lucky enough where like you got into the industry very, I guess the word would be naive in a way, like you did like very, what or ignorant. Yeah,
Unknowledgeable,
yeah,
ignorant.
and then but then
Ignorant doesn't mean stupid. It just means not having information.
no 100% like just because say you don't know like say
Right.
you have an IQ of 200 but you only know Spanish just because you don't know English doesn't mean you're an idiot. You just don't know
Right.
English. So you got into the industry at that age and with that ignorance, and then you start making content. And I'm guessing all the content now that you've made, especially since starting your site and everything, is 100% the content that you liked. Like you're into all that stuff as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much, I like the chubby girls and I like the hairy girls. Although, to be perfectly honest, I'm not too big on hairy legs.
It's like that. That's the
But
one.
I like a full bush, and the armpit hair I can take or leave.
That's fucking.
But
That's
I don't particularly like. And then as far as the chubby girl, there's a certain kind of chubby girl that I like, and there's a certain kind of chubby girl that I don't like. There's certain body shapes that appeal to me. Like I'm more of like I like really like hourglass shaped girls,
yeah. You like a girl with a fat ass and nice
fat
tits.
ass, big boobs, and
You
not
don't
too big
want
a
like
stomach.
some girl from Missouri that has no ass but she weighs 300 pounds.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're all
I
bored,
mean,
Rodney.
and there's a market for that too, but it's not my thing. So,
There's a lesser market, by the way. That's like a lemonade
but
stand
no, I
compared
always
to
figured I'm going to shoot what I
Starbucks.
like, and hopefully there's enough people that like the same thing that they'll go for it.
Yeah, I guess when you started taking off financially with this, did you ever think you were going to make as much money that you have with this and support yourself the way you have because of this?
Not at first. Um, we at the high point, um, like people, like I never got into like starting my own distribution company. Like people tend to rise to their comfort level, and I was comfortable having my own production company and doing my own mail order and that kind of thing, and running my own website and doing web sales. I was comfortable with that. But the actual start a company and hire salespeople to call the distributors and ship product out to the store, that was above my comfort range. So I never got that far. And I would have made a lot more money if I had done that. But we did really well. I mean, at the high point, I had an office on in Studio City on Ventura Boulevard with 6 employees.
Wow.
And
Damn.
and things were going up and up and up and up and up, getting better and better, more and more members on the site, more and more DVD sales.
Hmm.
And then the damn tube sites came out. And it's very hard to compete with free.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. 100%. That's why the
So
OnlyFans thing blows my mind. The fact that people are paying like $20+ for pictures. I'm like, what? What?
yeah.
There's like full two
Well,
hour films for free online, right?
yeah. I mean, the business is very different now, and it's definitely good for the girls.
True.
because now they can go on OnlyFans and be their own bosses and make their own money. They don't have to rely on people like me or the companies to hire them. They do what they want, and then they get their own fans. By the way, the girl you had on the I can't think of her name right now.
Oh, KT.
You had her on
You mentioned her. Yeah,
KT.
yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty hot.
Dude, dude. I was telling her, I'm like, dude, you're
If I was
freaking.
still shooting, I'd fly her out here.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's like the thing that blows my mind. It's like, God, this guy can actually do that. I wouldn't hand to God, man. There's no way I'd ever be able to do what you did. Like I would, if I ever had that, like, all right, here's your big shot, kid. Like I'd be coming immediately with like the most flaccid penis of all time. Like there's no way I'd be able to pull it off. So it's amazing what, like, you've had to have sex with like over like 200-300 women at this point from the stuff you've done, right?
You talking about right now or back then?
Overall, right? No, way more than.
Oh, I used to have a list on my site. I think the number is about somewhere 16 or 1700 different girls.
Unfucking yeah, no, I wouldn't.
But that's over the course of like, almost 25 years.
Yeah, but still, man. I mean, that's fucking cool. Like I said, because she was. Tell me if this is true. She was saying one thing where if you're a guy and you're going for like your first ever set or shoot or whatever, and if you like straight blow it, then like your career is basically done.
Pretty much, especially if it's a big budget movie because, you can't reschedule stuff, just because the guy couldn't get it up. You know.
Does the thing fluffer? Is that an actual thing? Like there's literally in the back scenes, there's guys just like jerking you to keep you hard.
I don't know. I mean, maybe at some point on the big budget shoots they had fluffers, but on the amateur stuff we didn't use fluffers.
Yeah, sure. You're like, yeah, fuck that.
I think vitamin V replaced the fluffers. So
Vitamin what?
vitamin V.
Oh, Viagra. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm still young. I haven't had to use that yet. So I'm all right.
And I will tell you, I don't think there's a guy in the business that doesn't take vitamin V.
Yeah. See, even if I did that, the pressure to be like, all right, don't bust the nut. It's like, no way. Like not in a million years. Like, look at her. I'm done. I'm Dunsky.
I remember a friend of mine that was that I would hire sometimes. He was an amateur actor, and then he got his first big shot in a big budget film. And I think he was with a couple of, longtime pros like Tom Byron, and I don't know who the other guy was. I don't remember. But the director said, "Okay, let's do the cum shot." So it was Tom, and then this my friend Guy, and then the other guy. So Tom goes, "All right, I'm ready. You ready?" And the other goes, "I'm ready." And he goes, and Guy's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I got to get there. Give me a couple of minutes." and he goes, "See, that's why we're on the A list and you're not."
It's like that's why we're Leonardo DiCaprio and you're over here doing Hallmark films.
Right.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, my two favorite girls that you did that were part of your thing were these are obviously stage names. They have to be, but one was Honey Bunch and the other girl, I think her name was like Molly Polly.
I remember Honey Bunch. She was a San Francisco girl. I think she did mostly solos, although I think she gave me a blowjob once.
Was she Spanish? She looked Spanish.
I don't know.
Yeah, I forget. The other girl, like she was pretending to be like a real estate agent or something.
What was the name you said?
I think it was Molly Polly, something like that. Something Polly.
Molly Pony.
Oh, Pony. That's what it was.
Molly Pony. I think
she did two. With
I could be wrong, but I think she's the girl that
she's like
something changed in her life, and she asked me if we take all her content off. So we
that's
did.
why I can't find it anymore.
Yeah,
rats.
Because I'll do that for girls if they feel like they made a mistake and they don't.
That's cool, man. That's actually a really cool thing. Be on. Yeah.
The only time I didn't do it, this girl had asked me this. It was actually a woman. She was in her 40s and she was really, really nasty. And she did about 5 or 6 scenes. And then all of a sudden, she never called me up and asked me, "Hey, would you mind, my daughter," she said the reason was because her daughter was turning 12 and she was terrified that her daughter was going to, find her online or something. And I'm thinking, well, why didn't you think about that when you were doing all this work. It wasn't like she did one or two scenes. She did about five or six of them, and she was really nasty. But she never asked me. She just sent me a nasty letter from an attorney, like a cease and desist or something.
Yeah,
And I said,
true. It is like not
just
what you ask, it's how you ask it kind of thing.
yeah. And I told my assistant, just send her a copy, send the attorney a copy of her model release. And if that doesn't
Look at
work,
you.
send him a copy of the footage where I came in her ass and it dripped out of her ass
Oh my
onto the
God.
carpet, and then she turned around and licked it off the carpet.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Ron. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Did you say checkmate after you fucking said Jesus Christ? Oh my God.
But I did take her stuff off the free side.
Okay,
You know.
look at you, the
So
gentleman, the
you'd
gentleman,
have to buy a membership.
Mr. Moore, ladies and gentlemen. So,
But so like when I would come to Seattle and
hmm,
some girls would come and they'd never done it before, and that's why I like shooting in Seattle instead of in LA, because
I gotta move to
they
fucking
weren't
Washington.
they
There's
weren't in the business,
more of my type over there apparently.
They were just either doing it for a fantasy, but if I felt they were only doing it just for the money, and I'd say, look, if you're just doing this for the money, I don't think you should do it. And they say, oh no, I want to do it. I want to do it. I said, well, okay, but I tell you what, I'm not in any rush to get these scenes out. So we'll shoot the scene. I'm going to hold on to it for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, if you feel like you've made a mistake, then just give me the money back and I'll destroy the footage. And no one ever, with one exception, no one ever took me up on that offer.
Wow, man, look at you. That's a really cool thing. Like you actually give them 30 day. Like, listen, if you think you made a mistake, you got 30
Yeah.
days.
I
Let
mean,
me
I would
know.
do that if, like I said, if I had a hunch that maybe they were just desperate for money and pretending that they weren't. And, I didn't want to have them do something because I remember you asked that girl, like, didn't you think about when you thought about doing porn, how, people, it's going to be out there for the whole world to see. And, I was aware of that. And so I figured if the girl feels like she made a mistake, not a big deal to me. Hey, I still got to fuck her, right?
Unreal. It actually leads me to another question, though. I know this is like a question I can look up on Google, but I figure I'd ask you. So, what are the steps you have to take compared to like if because obviously in America, 99% of the country like prostitution's legal, but porn is legal. So, like, what are the steps you have to take where it goes from you paying someone for sex, which is illegal prostitution, to oh no, we're just shooting a porn, so this is perfectly fine.
Um, that's actually a interesting question. I don't. What happened was in the 70s and 80s, porn was considered to be illegal only because um, they would like the vice cops in LA, if they found out about a shoot, they would arrest the girls for prostitution, and then they'd arrest the producer and director for pandering. Well, in the mid
Well,
80s,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Your porn was illegal in the 70s.
you could, yeah, if the cops caught you, you could get busted for shooting it
Wow,
in
I didn't know that.
California.
Oh, okay,
In
I didn't know
California,
that.
I don't know
Okay.
about New York,
Hmm.
but people would get busted in California. And of course, during the Reagan years and the first, Daddy Bush years, they would use like RICO laws to just, bankrupt companies and put the owners in jail. And when I got in the business, I was terrified about getting arrested for obscenity, you know, and we were one of the last sites, rather, excuse me. We were one of the last sites to keep hardcore off of our free side.
To
But
keep
after Pornhub came
hardcore.
out and any 8-year-old could go on and watch porn, it's like, well, who are we protecting,
Yeah, to
Anyway,
keep.
back to your question. So this guy, Hal Freeman, from Hollywood Video, sued. He got arrested for pandering on a shoot. So he took it all the way to the California Supreme Court. And the California Supreme Court ruled that, and I'm pretty sure this was the deal, that because the actress was not being paid by the guy she was having sex with, it didn't fit into the legal definition of
Ah,
prostitution.
yeah.
And since what she was doing was not prostitution, what he was doing was not pandering. And from that day forward, it became legal to shoot in California. Now, in Washington State, it's not technically illegal to shoot, so it's kind of a gray area. That's what I was told anyway by a couple of different attorneys. But in California, it's definitely on the books that it's legal to shoot porn. Now, the funny thing is, the definition that they used to say that she was not a prostitute, she was not committing an act of prostitution, was because she was not having sex with the guy that was paying her.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, fast forward like 5 years, and now you got people like me and Staliano and everybody shooting POV, and we're paying the girl as she's blowing us.
Yeah, she's definitely fucking you.
So it's, yeah, I mean, I've made jokes about it. It's like the cops break into a hotel and the guy's fucking a girl that he picked up off the street in the hotel bed. He goes, you're under arrest for being a John. You're under arrest for being a prostitute. And he goes, no, no, no. Look over there in the corner of the room. There's a camera on a tripod. we're making an adult video. Oh, okay. That's legal. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. That's the old joke. Exactly.
So I don't know.
I don't understand. It really blows my mind that it's like still illegal prostitution. I don't understand. Like, there's really only 10 people that could say, "Oh, my religious belief." It's like those people don't count. There's like 10 of them at this point. Besides that, I don't understand how it's not legal. It seems so like it's such a slam dunk that everyone would be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it would end sex trafficking.
It would end like everything. I feel like it would end like just guys
the
pent
government
up and
passed
pissed
that
off.
law to that forced Backpage and Craigslist to remove all their personal ads.
Backpage is
Craigslist
done. Backpage is completely not around anymore.
Yeah, it's gone, and that's where I was getting most of my girls that I would shoot in Seattle from Backpage.
Get the fuck out! No way.
That was another good reason why it was good timing when I quit.
I thought Backpage it just seemed like so many of those ads were fake.
I don't know.
Huh.
But there were a lot of girls that were making money doing happy ending massages with Backpage ads. And the thing is, yeah, I guess some people were using it for sex trafficking. But I saw this interview with a woman who was a law enforcement officer who basically said, they passed this law, and even like the liberals voted for it, like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren voted for it because they were told one thing and it's actually something else. Basically, this lady that was a law enforcement officer had said that we cooperate with Backpage they cooperate with us, and Craigslist cooperates with us. So if we see something that looks like it might be trafficking, they'll give us the information about who placed that ad, and then we can go after them. But with Backpage being forced to shut down and Craigslist shutting down their personal section, all these other little sites have popped up out of the woodwork, and there's so many of them doing the same thing, and we don't know who they are. So now there's people running sex trafficking ads on those sites, and we have no way of tracking them down. So they've actually done the law has actually done more damage than good.
Huh. So it made it worse. Unreal. Yeah. It's unreal.
And then the other thing is like girls would use some of the bulletin boards to, the sex workers would be able to communicate with each other on some of these boards and say, hey, if this guy so-and-so called you, don't see him. He's bad news. He tried to rape me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen because I've contacted independent escorts and everything, and like I've sometimes seen on their Twitter, like, hey, this guy's posting a picture with a fake license, da-da-da. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So they've done a disservice to the very people that they're trying to protect.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy, man.
Up here in Seattle, we have a street called 99, and there's always streetwalkers out there.
Your mother's a streetwalker. I'm sorry.
That's one of the, I don't think you see that in most cities anymore.
No.
We also have another unique thing and I don't know why this is only in Seattle, but we have bikini baristas.
Barista that's a bartender, right? Barista, right?
No, barista is the girl that makes your latte.
Oh yeah. I'm a retard. And bikinis? That's fucking hot, dude.
So they have drive up.
That's awesome.
Coffee stands. You drive up, and the girl is inside there with a skimpy bikini on.
What?
and you got to pay a little extra for the coffee, but
Can you put some milk in there? And she's like, all right, let me just squeeze this one tip for you.
that's one of the cool things about being in the business is that I've been able to act out many fetishes. So
Oh man, dude, fuck you.
the lac the
Fuck
lactating
you,
the
man.
lactating fetish. I've had 5 or 6 women over the course of my time in the business that were lactating, so I got to fulfill that fantasy. I
What's your
got
like yeah, what's your best one, man?
um on my 50th birthday, I did a whole video in one day. It was called Rodney's Birthday Blast.
Unreal.
And I had like 16 girls and I had 5 guys. And then I was going to have all 16 girls do me like a reverse gangbang. And it started out where they were all going to massage me at the same time. And it's like, once you go more than 4 hands on you, it's like, it's, you can't tell. It's like a waste because it's an it's too much.
Yeah, I don't even know how you get like 16 people around someone. There's a lot of people.
So that was interesting. I did twins. They were boring.
That's yeah, that seems they were
They weren't boring because they were twins. They were just boring.
it just it also seems weird because like I would feel like if I had twins, I'd be like, you guys are related, huh? This is alrighty then. This is different.
I've done pregnant girls.
I never understood the pregnant girl thing. Like that's a bit like that is a really big category.
Yeah,
I never got it. I was never into
yeah.
that.
I've done a lot of I've probably done like 50 or 60 foot fetish scenes. I have a little sub-site called kissyfoot.com
Dude, look at your fucking
where it's
passive
just
income over here.
foot worship. Oh, one time, you remember I told you like in the early days I was terrified of being busted for
Yeah.
obscenity because it was a real fear that everybody had back then. Nowadays, with Pornhub and everything, there's so much stuff out there like just not to worry about it.
Yeah, every
But
girl like her freshman year of college now has an OnlyFans.
right. So anyway, it's the mid '90s, and I'm still very uptight about getting busted. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up to go to the bathroom, and earlier in the day, I had pulled a box out of a closet, and I guess I was just too lazy to shove it back in. So I forgot that it was out there in the middle of the hallway. So I tripped over it and hit the ground fairly hard, but
Hmm.
didn't hurt myself or anything. Went to the bathroom, went back to bed. About a half hour later, I hear this pounding on my door. I was in an apartment building at the time. I hear a pounding on my door. I look through the peephole, the peephole, and that's another fetish, but we won't get into that.
Oh,
I look,
jeez.
I look through the peephole, and there's 3 LAPD officers out there.
Oh,
I go, oh
Jesus.
shit, what the hell's going on here? So I start shaking. I go, oh my God, am I getting arrested? I open the door, and the guy goes, sorry to wake you, sir, but your neighbor in the apartment below you heard some loud pounding and thought maybe there was a prowler in the building. And I said, about a half hour ago? And he goes, yeah. And I goes, oh, that was me. I fell. I tripped over a box. He goes, okay, so everything's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. All right, well, sorry we bothered you. He turns and walks away. The second cop turns and walks away. The third cop's staring at me.
Oh,
He
jeez.
goes, are you Rodney Moore? I'm thinking, oh shit. I go, yeah. He puts his thumb up. Good stuff.
That's fucking hilarious, man. That's hilarious. This is in the 90s, the mid 90s,
Yeah, the mid '90s.
where it's like it's all VHS at that point, or like that's
Yeah,
crazy,
VHS.
man.
So I had a fan as a cop.
Well, and that's what I think. So like I liked the massage parlors and everything like that, and I feel like a lot of like the reason why a lot of those places get shut down or a lot of legalities are still around for prostitution and everything is because I think it's just women cops that are making a fuss. I don't think any guy cop has a problem with it.
Have you been to the South?
No, but like, is it still really like, like, is it really still like that?
I don't know. We have Asian massage parlors here that don't get busted.
Yeah. Those are really like the big one, the Asian massage parlors.
Yeah, for some reason the police leave those alone.
Yeah, because there's a billion of them.
Yeah, yeah, they're popping up all. There's one. I live like in a kind of a center of a suburb of Seattle, and right in the heart of the town. There was a massage. There was one massage parlor, but it was legit. So you'd go there, and the girl would give you a massage, but no happy ending. Nothing would be offered. They even had a sign up, no, don't ask for any, whatever.
You're like, why am I
But then a
even
couple of
going
new ones
here?
opened up right in the heart of the city center here, the town center here, and they're both happy ending places.
Yeah, those
I was
places
sort
probably
of
doing way
surprised
more
that
business.
they would be. I was surprised they'd be open right in the heart of the center of it.
Yeah, as long as no one complains and as long as no one's getting hurt. Like again, as long as no one's getting hurt, I don't understand the problem with this shit. It's really weird.
You remember that guy Afro Man?
Oh, the rapper?
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Da
listened to
da da
some of
da
his
da
songs.
da. But then I got high. Da 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 da.
That
But then
song's
I
real.
got
Yeah,
high.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He was interviewed in Rolling Stone, and they asked him a bunch of silly questions like, "What's your favorite pizza? What's your favorite drink? What's your favorite movie?" And they asked him, "What's your favorite porn?" He goes, "I like Rodney porn."
That's fucking insane, dude. I didn't
And
know you were this well known, man. This is awesome.
it made me realize that there's a lot of celebrities that everybody watches porn. Whether you're I'm sure there's a lot of celebrities that watch porn. It made me realize there's a good chance that there's probably some really famous people who know
Love
who
your
I
stuff.
am.
Yep, they love it. Dude, I tell people that all the time. It's like, you want to know what the world's like, just go to a porn website. That's what the real, like, don't watch the news, don't go on Twitter. Like, the real world's right there. It will tell you exactly what people are into, what they like, what they want. It's right fucking there, and a click of a button.
How long you been doing your podcast?
So it's funny. Me and my co-host Jem, we did it for a year. It was called the Nothings Podcast, and it just didn't like work out in terms of us. Like, I'm very like OCD micromanaging, and Jem's more laid back. So then I started doing this one, Monday Morning Dullard, since the beginning of January of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Am I
having
the first porn guy? I know you did a porn girl, but am I the first porn guy you've interviewed?
guy definitely, man. Like I had one girl who was like big on OnlyFans. I just met her, had her on. Then I had the Kate D girl, but same thing. I
Hmm.
just saw her on Twitter.
She's got a nice ass.
Huge, was it Brazilian butt lift? Huge
Yeah.
ass. And I'm over here like, holy shit! Like, I got this. Like, look at me fucking getting this girl on the pot. Like, holy shit. But you, like, I've known since I was fucking young, man. Like, I've been watching your shit
Wow.
forever now. So I was like, holy shit. The fact that I got this guy on, like, yeah, like, what the fuck? This is awesome, man.
Thank you.
100%. Like, those girls I really didn't know until, like, just scrolling through Twitter. I was like, all right, I gotta hit this guy up. I know he's got like an email or something on his site, but who cares? Roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah. That was actually another reason why I kind of was starting to get tired of doing it, shooting myself, is because I'd go down, after I moved back to Seattle, I would go down to LA, and then there'd be all these new girls in the business, and they don't bother to study the history of the business or anything like that, and the agents wouldn't tell them. So
Hmm.
I started feeling like they'd come over and like they were, in their minds, just like, who's this older guy? Just trying to get his jollies off with those young girls.
They don't know. That's hilarious. It's like they don't know what I was like in my prime.
I did have quite a few girls tell me though that I was one of their favorite, if not the favorite person that they have worked with.
I wanted to ask you. So, do you have a favorite girl, or like, do you have a girl that comes to mind that was your favorite to work with?
Um, well, back in 94, 95, there was a girl, Nadia, that I shot like 44 times.
Jesus
She was she
Christ,
was she was 50% Indian and 25% white, 25%
Nadia
black.
Nice.
Yeah, Nadia Nice, yeah. And yeah, she was amazing. So I shot her exclusively for like 44 times, and then she retired, went back to England.
She went back to England. You said.
England, yeah. That's where she
Damn.
was from. So she had an English accent.
Now I remember when we were hitting each other back up on emails. You heard the story I told with Kate D.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
fucking awful, like, dude. I still have PTSD with that anal experience. I remember I had a girl in my car one day with a like she was beautiful, dude, drop dead, but like, and she loved anal, and I'm like, I can't do it. I just get because of this one experience I had.
Right. Well, I told you I had a similar
Oh
story.
my god.
This girl was giving me head. I was laying down on the couch, and she was giving me head, and I guess she tried to take me in too deep, and she basically barfed all over me.
Oh.
Now, before I go any further with this story, I will tell you that I know that there's some people that shoot stuff where they sort of force the girls to barf and they think that's hot or something. That's like completely gross to me. In fact, the barfing stuff is even grosser to me than your experience.
I think both are.
Not that that's not gross,
Yeah, they're
but
both equally. Like, I wouldn't want either or, but yeah, I get what you're
right.
saying. Yeah.
So anyway, so she barfs all over my lap, and she felt horrible. I could see it, and she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," because it
Of
was all over
course.
me. It was on my balls, on my stomach,
Holy shit.
and I was like, I would, inside, I was like screaming my head up, like, "Ah," right. So, but I didn't want to make her feel bad, so I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. I'll just take a break. I'm just going to go in the shower and rinse off." Right. So I get up calmly. I walk out. I turn the corner into the hallway, and as soon as I got to the point where she couldn't see me, I start running into the shower.
Just fucking running there, hot water blasting.
Ah.
Oh shit. At least you didn't have the fucking. I mean, I luckily never got that. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, my cousin would be like, "Oh, you got to get head." Where like they got snot bubbles coming out of their nose, and I'm over here like, "No, I don't. I don't want that at all. Why? Why is that a
Not
thing?"
going to feel any better.
Yeah, like what the fuck? No.
Oh.
What other bad experience you've had to have? You have to have like a fucking bucket load of these things, right?
Um, well, I had a bad, non-porn experience.
Oh.
When I first moved to Seattle, I I had met this girl guitar player, and I had never seen a girl musician in a band in New Haven, growing up in Connecticut. And then I first moved to Seattle, and I started hitting the clubs to see what was going on. And this band had a girl guitar player. I go, wow, that's amazing. So I put an ad in the paper looking for musicians to jam with and stuff. And she called the ad. I didn't even know it was her. And then she said, well, come on over, we'll jam. So she knocks on my door, and it's this girl that I had seen at the club. And I go, wow, it's you. Anyway, we started dating, and we had sex a couple of times. And one night she calls me up, and she goes, "Hey, I got crabs. You probably have them too." I go, "Crabs?" I go, "Yeah, I've got them. You probably got them too."
Oh,
And
jeez.
I said, "Well, how would I know? I mean, I think if I read somewhere they're like little, you might see like little teeny tiny black specks."
Oh, God.
And she's like, "Oh no, you can see them." I go, "Really?" I said, and she goes, "Well, I got the medicine, so I'll drive over and bring you the medicine." I said, "Okay, thanks." So I hung up. I went in the bathroom. I pulled down my underwear,
Oh, no.
and I swear to God,
Oh,
I could see this little thing, like the little translucent pincers.
oh, oh, no.
And oh my God, I freaked out. I got in the shower,
Oh,
underwear still on around my ankles. I didn't want to take the time to take them off. I just jumped in the shower and turned the water on and scrubbing myself with a washcloth. And it was horrible.
oh, yeah, dude. I hate bugs. I hate ticks. Ugh, so I can't even imagine. I might almost pass out from just like sheer panic.
There was
Fuck
another
that.
guy that when I in the early days when I was shooting a lot of amateur couples, and I had shot this young couple that were living in a hotel, and they called me up and said, "Hey, this guy and his wife came in from Chicago, or via Las Vegas, and they want to work." So I went and interviewed them, and the guy's like, "Yeah, yeah, I guess their story was he read a book on how to make money in Las Vegas, and then they went to Las Vegas, and of course he blew his life savings."
Oh my God.
So they were desperate for money to get back to Chicago.
Ah, jeez.
So I said, "Yeah, I can shoot your wife." And he goes, "Can you put her in a gangbang? Because I heard those pay more." And he goes, "Well, yeah, I can maybe get like 5 guys, and in fact, I'll even pay you to be one of the guys. You'll make a little extra money." So I said, "Okay." So a couple of days later, they show up, and he was kind of rude, and then he gets on top of her, and actors, male porn actors know how to position their bodies so the camera can see what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, they're always on a fucking angle.
Yeah, right. So this guy just gets on top of his wife and he starts humping her, and I'm saying, I can't see anything. Can you move your ass? I can't see anything. And then all of a sudden he just gets up and walks out of the room. He goes, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm done." He goes, "What do you mean you're done?" He goes, "I'm done. I came." He goes, "You came
Oh,
inside her. I couldn't even if you if I can't see it, it's worthless." He goes, "I'm done." So
did he clap his
he
hands
goes out
together
into
like, ah,
the.
job well done?
I had a little porch at this place, so he goes out on the porch and he had a bottle of whiskey. So he starts drinking the whiskey, and the other four guys are, I'm filming them. They're gang banging her,
Oh
and
my god.
we took a break after about a half hour, and I walk out, and he's out there, and he's talking to the assistant that I had to help me out. And I overhear him talking. He goes, "That motherfucker in there making those guys fuck my wife. I'm gonna kill him."
What the fuck? This guy's
And
off
this was
his
the guy that
rocker.
basically begged me to put his wife in a gangbang so they'd have enough money to get their asses back to Chicago.
Dude, this is like that's so 90s, like early 2000. Like that I don't think like I can't even imagine something like that happening today.
Yeah, probably not.
Do you did the industry change a lot where like you kind of like at one point you were just like, "Ah, I'm kind of over this. I don't
I
like it as much."
yeah, I gotta say the girls that were doing this in the '90s are different than most of the girls doing it now. Although I enjoyed Kate D. She seems like she would have been a good '90s girl. She
So you
seems like
liked
she
it better
really
in the
haven't.
90s.
The thing was the girls really had to be into it back then. There wasn't a lot of money. You were, in the '90s. I mean, porn was very much looked down upon. I mean, a girl does. When I go out on if I meet someone like a woman or something like that, and my standard thing to say is, if I meet a woman and she doesn't know I've done porn, and I say, "Oh, I've done porn for a living," and I say, if they're over 40, it's like, "You did porn? That's gross. That's disgusting." I say, if they're under 30, and I say, I've done porn for a living, they're like, "Cool, man."
Yeah, look at me.
So
I'm over here. Yeah.
attitudes have changed. So
Hmm.
So the girls that were doing it in the '90s, there was that huge stigma attached to it, and there wasn't a lot of money. So they really had to like doing it. They really had to love. They really had to want to do it. So there was just I don't know, it was a better attitude. Now a lot of the girls are just really put like it's their day job. They come to work. Who am I fucking today? Okay, let's do it. Okay, thanks. Where's my paycheck? See you later.
Just clock in,
Not
clock
all of them,
out.
but not all of them, but some of them.
I get what you're saying. Like the overall vibe kind of moved closer to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Huh. Do you think also because there's more money well, yeah, do you think because there's more money in it that like some girls are maybe like also a little bit like prima donnas at all or divas, kind of like being a rich celebrity or movie star, athlete kind of thing?
Well, I don't know how many of them have achieved that kind of status, but I just think it's so prevalent now that it's not a big deal to. I mean, there's thousands of girls who are filming themselves and their boyfriends and popping their stuff up on Pornhub.
Yeah, exactly. So but now how do you think your overall life has been, outside of porn, being known as someone who does it, especially from the 90s to now, from like it being not that socially acceptable to being pretty much no one really cares anymore.
Um, well, there's people that I associate with that don't know um, that I have done porn. It's kind of on a need to know basis. And because some of them are like in my age range, then I know that some of them might not be. Um,
Copacetic with it.
like there's a sport that I play. I get together with people and play it, and some of them are in my age range, some of them are younger, but
Oh, you're
we
playing
get together
pickleball.
because we have a common love of playing this certain sport.
Uh huh.
And I know some of them are like Republicans, some of them are Democrats, some of them, and some of them we don't talk politics because I would, we're not going to get into a disagreement about politics just because we like the same sport. And I'm sure some of them would be a little put off by the fact that I've, done that. And I just don't want to have that energy in the room, so I just don't bring it up.
Hmm. Are you happy? You're happy that you've done it though, right? Like at this stage in your
Oh
life.
yeah. No, I'm proud of my porn. Or sometimes I say I don't know, way before your time, but in the first original cast of Saturday Night Live, Garrett Morris did this thing. I guess there was some Puerto Rican ball player that just had signed a huge contract, making more money than any ball player before him. And Garrett Morris did like a imitation of him, and the guy kept asking him about playing baseball, and he kept saying, "Baseball has been very very good to me." So I'm often heard saying, "Porn been very very good to me."
Porn's really helped you. What about with like relationships? Did you ever like have you ever been married? Have you ever thought about that? Or not even like married, like have you long term
I'm
relationships?
I'm single at the moment. I've had, if I go out with somebody, I got to tell them that I never really dated porn girls. But I had I had a girl that contacted me because she found me on Pornhub
Hmm.
and she liked what she saw, but then she went to my website and discovered that I do music. And she's checked out my music videos and really liked my singing and my songs and kind of got really attracted to me more so from my music than from the porn. And we ended up dating for a while, but she actually lived overseas. She lived in Europe. And she came to visit me once and I went to visit her a couple of times and we toured Europe together and we went to the Amsterdam, to the red light district. And that was kind of fun.
That must have been a
But
trip.
it was just, it was just too difficult to try to keep that going when she's like 8,000 miles away. So,
Gotcha. And
but she was, yeah, but she obviously knew I was doing porn because that's how she found me.
true. And did you were there any girls that you've like tried dating in the past and then when they found out they kind of were just like, I can't. Yeah, sorry, no.
Yeah, there was a woman about 5 years ago. I went on a date from a dating site, and we were having dinner at a fairly nice restaurant. And usually, like I won't mention anything on a first date,
Mm-hmm.
but if a girl specifically asks me what I do, I'm not going to lie about it. So I told her, and a few minutes later, she said, I just can't. This is so out of my league. I just there's no point in me sitting here any longer. So she left, but at least she had the decency to put down the money to pay for her meal.
Oh, look at that! What a like gentleman move from her. That very very
Yeah.
nice lady. She's like, all right, well, I might as well
So
pay my half.
I respected her for that.
No, that's cool. And also, like, she let you know straight up. She didn't like drag you on or anything like that.
Right. When I first got into business, I had met a girl, and this was before there was any internet dating. So I don't even remember how I met her, but we were having coffee. It was our first meeting, and I just started shooting. And she had just moved from New York. And so we're having coffee in Marina Del Rey. And she goes, "So what do you do?" And she goes, "Well, I just started shooting amateur adult videos." And she goes, "No, seriously, what do you do?" And she said, I said, I just told you, I just started shooting amateur adult videos. And she goes, I'm new to LA and I've heard about this kind of thing. There's a hidden camera, right? This is like a setup and I'm on TV and
Oh,
you're
jeez.
trying to get my reaction. So it'll be funny and it's going to go on a TV show, right? And I said, no, no, there's no cameras. There's no TV show. You asked me a question and I answered it. She goes, oh, so that's really what you do? And I go, yeah. So she took a sip of her coffee, put it down, grabbed her purse, got up, and walked away.
Ah,
Didn't say goodbye, didn't say you pervert or you're trash or anything like that.
she just wasn't ready. She
Which
was
was
not
actually
into it.
worse. I would have felt better if she had said something.
Yeah, yeah, really. She left you with a
Just
mystery.
I wasn't even worth a negative comment at that point.
Oh, fuck. What about so what's the type of girl that you're into? What are the type of girls that you like?
I like curvy brunettes.
Brunettes. Okay, so you like the
Curvy
bigger
brunettes
curvy
with
brunettes.
little or no tattoos
Little to no tattoo.
and
Gotcha.
little or no piercings. I'm old school.
That is old. Yeah,
Grew
that
up
is old school. Fuck, man. And what kind of music are you into? What kind of music do you play, dude?
I do kind of 80s, I mean, I stopped doing music when I got into porn. So my head is into 80s arrangements and 70s arrangements. I'm a huge Beatles fan.
Oh, that's
Um,
60s. Actually, yeah, that's
in fact,
60s,
I
man.
know so much Beatles trivia. In fact, when I was in London, I took the London Beatles tour, and the guy was taking us around, and I kept saying, "Oh yeah, I know that," and then he pulls up next to this flat, and he goes, this is the Asher House." I said, "Oh yeah, that's where John and Paul wrote 'I Want to Hold Your Hand.'" He goes, "All right, David, you want to take over the tour?" But so I actually what I do now is I crank out music videos. I put out a CD not too long ago. I do Bob Ross type painting. I know about 50 magic card tricks.
Oh, gee, don't be the guy who does porn and knows magic. Don't be that guy. Leave that away from like the first date. Fuck it. So I'm trying to think 70s and 80s. So like you like the Doors and the Who and
Oh yeah, I was at the Doors concert in New Haven where Jim Morrison got arrested on stage.
get the fuck out of here. That's fucking old. What year was that?
I don't know,
It's like
70, 71,
73.
69, somewhere around there, 70.
Jesus Christ, that's awesome, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw a lot of bands. The only band I didn't see was the Beatles. I saw the Stones and I saw the Rolling Stones in the New Haven Arena in 65. It's a huge arena, and what they were using for equipment, uh, Brian Jones and Keith Richards each had one twin reverb. Bill Wyman had a Fender Bassman and no mics on the drums, and the PA system was two Shure columns on each side of the stage. And that
Really?
was what they used. That was what they had at that time to play for like a coliseum full of people.
That's crazy. That's way
Now
back then.
the average garage band would be caught dead playing on equipment like that.
No, that's the thing that I'm thinking about. What about you ever listen to Janis Joplin?
I saw Janis Joplin.
You saw her live. It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, back then she was part of Big Brother and the holding company.
Yeah, she sounds just like, I never got that big into Led Zeppelin, but she sounds so much like the singer. Was it Page? Is it something
Robert
Page?
Plant.
Oh, Plant. I'm an
Robert
idiot.
Plant.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
she
saw Led
sounds
Zeppelin
just
on
like
their
him.
first American tour. Um, yeah, most of the bands that were big in the '60s, other than the Beatles, I saw live.
My dad was really into the
Saw
Allman
Jimi
Brothers.
Hendrix like 3 times. I saw Cream 2 or 3 times.
Cream's great. Jimi Hendrix is great. Oh, these are awesome fucking bands right now.
But I probably should push my music site,
Yeah, do yeah,
even though
yeah,
it
yeah.
will be revealing my real name. But it's David Perry Tunes, and I have a YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, David Perry Tunes, and I have a website, davidperrytunes.com, and I just set up a Patreon page,
Oh, you're doing the old
which is
Patreon,
also
man.
David Perry Tunes.
David Perry. Hold on, I'm looking it up on YouTube right now. David Perry tunes. You might have. Oh wait. Yep. Do you have like a gray beard? Is that you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't have it at the moment, but that was my pandemic beard.
I'll definitely put that. I'll definitely put this URL in the like about bio section of this episode, bro.
Oh, cool.
Oh, definitely, man, dude. Like I said, like the fact that I'm talking to you, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. This is fucking crazy. It's like when a fucking kid meets like his favorite celebrity or whatever.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, some guys want to, some porn people don't ever want their real name out there, but some people don't care. Like everybody knows Max Hardcore's real name, and Seymour Butts, everybody knows as Adam Glasser. And
I don't know any of these people, bro.
Seymour Butts he was a porn producer, director, and performer, but he kind of stopped performing. Showtime did a series on him called Family Affair, which I think ran for 3 seasons, and for some reason it's not on anymore.
Hmm.
But it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun.
I know a ton of
And it was,
like girl porn star names, but like it sucks because like when it's like, oh man, it's I'll never. I think most guys like when they watch porn are like this, like I'll never be able to like actually meet that person ever in my life. It's a
you
weird thing.
I guess so.
It's a weird fucking thing. This is cool though, man. Yeah, no, I'll definitely David Perry. Look at you, 6,500 subscribers, man. Now
Yeah,
I
not bad.
now I have a question. So because I wanted to ask this definitely before we went off air or whatever and ended this. What was the reason that like you kind of just didn't like to do things like this in terms of like interviews or shows or anything like that?
Oh, I was in high school, I was terrified of public speaking. Um, I had this English teacher, and I had done some speaking in grammar school, as part of whatever class we were doing, And in English, I don't know, we were halfway through the semester, and the teacher goes, "Okay, the next thing we're going to do is public speaking. Everybody's going to have to make a 5 minute speech in front of the class." And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "Now I know a lot of you are going to be nervous, and it's okay to be nervous." And I swear to God, he spent the whole 45 minutes, the rest of the class, telling us how it was perfectly fine to be nervous. And I swear, I think he was just a twisted fuck who got off on seeing kids get up and like sweating it out,
Like ha
because
ha ha
like I said,
ha.
when he first said public speak, I said, okay. By the end of that class, I was like terrified to get up in front of the class and give a speech.
Now I know you guys are gonna be pissing your pants and sweating and thinking about all the people staring at you. It's like, bro, shut
Right.
the
Yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah. Exactly. I think he got off on that.
That's hilarious.
So, so yeah, and like I remember when I was nominated for awards at the AVN show. A couple of years I was nominated for Male Performer of the Year, even though I was old enough to be the father of every other nominee. But I was horrified because that was a walk-up award. Some of the awards at the show
Oh,
aren't walk-up, but I was horrified. I was sitting there. I kind of want to win, but I really don't want to win because I'll have to get up there and make a speech. No, no, I don't want to get up there. But I've gotten over it. I mean, I've gotten awards at I was when I got the Hall of Fame at the what do you call it? XRCO, the X-Rated Critics Organization. I got the Hall of Fame award, so I get up and made a little speech. It was okay. I was okay.
hmm. You
And a
ever go
couple
to
other
those?
things.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
giving an outstanding achievement award at the what they used to call the Tranny Awards, but again, that name became politically incorrect, so now it's the Trans Erotica Awards. But I get up and made a speech there. So yeah, I don't know why I really said that. I maybe it was like I said, I think my assistant just kind of talked me out of doing it.
no, didn't know. Have you ever gone to those like XXXotica or whatever they're called? Shows. It's like they're like
I
events.
think I think we did one of them. They used to have a show called L.A. Erotica.
Hmm.
We had a booth at those. I think one of the very first XX eroticas we did, but none of them since.
See, if it's weird for me because like it feels like porn is like and sex is 100% more like socially acceptable now, and like there's fucking slut walks and all this kind of shit. But like it, it feels like back in the day though, there used to be awards, like it was the MTV Music Awards for like best score in porn. It's like I don't think does that stuff even exist anymore?
Award shows
Like
for
for
porn?
like best score and bet like, yeah, award shows.
Yeah, I think AVN still does a. I think they did it, online the last couple of years because of the pandemic.
Because people have
Um,
made documentaries on like John Holmes and Ron Jeremy and everything like that, and I don't feel like anyone's gonna be making documentaries on porn stars today 10, 15 years from now.
no, there's too many of them.
Oh, is that what it is?
Ron Jeremy's in a lot of trouble. He's in
He
jail.
Yeah, he's in prison. Like what was it? Like sexual assault or rape or something?
Yeah, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of like it's. I'm not going to, in any way, shape, or form, get into politics, but it's kind of like Trump. I mean, I think you're in a position where so many women are open to you coming on to them that you just start thinking that every woman is open to you coming on to them, and not all of them are. You know, like Trump was, I just grab them by the pussy and they love it. I'm sure Ron Jeremy, hundreds and hundreds of times at the trade shows, women were just thrilled to have him come up and grab them. But unfortunately for him, there was enough women that did not want to be grabbed by him, and that's what happened.
Yeah, that is crazy. That like near the very end of his life, it's like, yeah, no, you're about to like end it with a really bad time, man. It's like, and that's
Yeah, that sucks. But
fuck, Jesus. And actually, I had one other question because you got into this in the late '90s. How?
early '90s, actually.
I'm sorry, yeah, my bad. Early '90s. How? Like, how fearful were you at all at that point, like with HIV and AIDS and all that kind of stuff? Because like it was still
Well,
prevalent in
we
the
had to
early
get
'90s.
tested every 30 days. I did an editorial in the AVN one time because up to a certain point, and probably still true to this day, the only people that every time somebody tested positive for HIV in the business, there'd be like a big meeting and everything would shut down for a while. And we have a big meeting and we'd invite doctors to come talk to us and all this stuff. And initially it was we only get tested every 3 months, and then somebody turned up positive, and
Oh,
then we have to
jeez.
get tested every 2 months, and then somebody turned up positive, and then we had to get tested every 1 month. And the thing was, every person that showed up positive from the business got it from what's known as anal cream pie.
I,
And
I, I know what that is.
it's where the guy comes
Yes.
in, the girl's butt.
Yes, it is.
And that's like the number one way that you can get AIDS
Yeah,
is
anal
is
sex.
from
That's
that.
why it
I
was
mean,
so prevalent in the
it's
gay community.
99 and 9/10% of people that get it from that.
Yeah.
So I did this big editorial because there were people that were shooting anal cream pies all the time. And Mark Wallace, who infected 5 different girls because he lied about his test,
Ah, jeez.
and they all got it from him from doing anal cream pies. And so I did this editorial. I said, why the fuck are we shooting anal cream pies? It's 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 so stupid. Plus, what's really sad about it, it's the easiest shot in the world to fake. You can just put a little fake lube in the girl's butt. The guy pretends he's coming. He pulls out. Let the girl squirt the fake stuff out. No one's going to know the difference. Why are we doing it for real when you can just fake it when we know it's so dangerous?
Why
But
the fuck would you fake? Why would you fake a test? Like, dude, like it's not. We're not talking about fucking gonorrhea or chlamydia. Like the guy's got HIV and he's just like, oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm
yeah,
negative. That's
and he infected 5 girls.
dude. That's a horror show. I can't even imagine that, man.
Yeah.
That's fucked. That's insane. I'm guessing stuff like that has gotten better though in the industry, right? Like in terms of testing and being like on the up and up with that stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm out of it now, but yeah, I mean, I think people, you show up on a set, you show people your tests. And I guess, like I said, I retired from actually shooting just before the pandemic. So I guess for a while, in addition to having to show your STD test, you also had to show your test from COVID.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, if I had a choice, I'd pick having COVID over HIV. But yeah, no, it's good to it's good people were tested for both.
Mm.
Um, hey man, dude, Ronnie, thanks for coming on. I know, listen, my fucking audience isn't even close to the amount of people that you have, but I will definitely promote this episode as much as I can and
Oh,
put all your
thanks.
links and everything in the bio of the episode, bro.
Appreciate it. I've thought about doing a podcast, but I don't know. I got too many other things on my plate.
Yeah, you got kegerators and music, you know.
Kegerators, music, and paintings, and card tricks, and
Yeah, well, maybe ditch the car. Everything else is awesome. Thanks, dude, for coming on, man. I really do
all
appreciate
right.
it.
Thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Later.